so we'll take it along the wall and line up on the wall here, okay? Right there's good. You can do your line up there, whoever's going first. All right, you guys got everybody here? All right, you're all ready? Guns out. All right, whenever you guys are ready, you can go.
Federal agent.
Freeze. Put your hands up.
Put your hands up.
You're under arrest.
Where's that hands up? Sir, put your hands up and stop moving.
What are you looking for?
Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
What are you looking for?
Look fresh and careful.
That's it.
No, sir. Stay put. That is not Ashton Campbell.
Oh, that man.
Do you have any weapons on you? Do you have any weapons on you?
I'm not saying nothing.
Sir, do you have any weapons on you?
I don't even know who you guys are. I'm not saying a thing.
Sir,
I'm
I'm
not
an
saying
IRS
anything.
special agent. Do you have any weapons on you?
I'm not saying a thing.
All right, please
You
get
do what you
on.
gotta do. I'm not saying anything.
Turn around.
Hands up. Did you have any
Hands
weapons?
up high.
I have a gun. Yeah, I have a permit. It's
Slowly
legal.
behind your back.
Can we take your weapon, please?
Well, if you already asked me, I don't know. I'm gonna say no.
All
Spread
right.
your legs.
Getting arrested?
Do you have any other weapons on you?
Hands behind
No.
your back.
Can you please put your hands behind your back?
Don't move.
Can you lean forward?
Ashton Campbell. Raise your hand. You're under arrest. What? You're under arrest for conspiracy.
Can you please turn around? Bend over.
Hands up. That's right.
Serious.
Put your hands behind your back.
This is the book of Isaiah 10 and 1. It says, woe to them who make unjust laws, and to those who issue oppressive decrees to deprive the poor of their rights, and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey and robbing the fatherless. Giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Habarkakwadash. Double honors into the apostle elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to you, hopeful elect brothers. Noise in the gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. To you I say shalom. This is the Aki of Mahaloya, coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will to be edifying. Showing you brothers out there that this is getting ready to be 70 AD all over again, or 67 AD, when you go into the siege of Titus and Vespasian and Domitian Caesars. You have what they call the first Jewish wars, or the Jewish-Romans wars. The first ones, basically when the Sicarii sect pretty much rose up against the Roman Empire and was killing other Israelites to recruit them so they can have numbers to prevail because of taxation. Okay, you had what they call it, Apostle Tahar just went into it, but it's called the Fidius, matter of fact, let me put it up. The Ficus it's called Fiscus Judacius, okay? A Judacius, which means Jewish tax, okay? Which during that time you had different zealots that rose up against the Roman Empire because, hey, Yahweh Shai say, pay unto Caesar was Caesar's, okay? Because you got to understand that once we was enslaved by the Romans or the Greeks, soon to become the Romans, we had to pay a tribute into them, okay? We had to pay tributary into the Roman Empire, okay? Like when you go into the history of the account of Matthew, when they call him a publican is basically synonymous into as a tax collector, okay? So long story short, this is the Ficus Judacius, which means Jewish tax. Okay, and I did a video about 3 weeks ago with this guy, Sleepy Joe, pretty much militarizing the IRS. I believe they hired over 80-something thousand agents, with 57% of the federal funding going to militarize them, to train them for excessive force, because what they're going to do, or what they're attempting to do, as you saw in this video, is going door to door, shaking people down for money. Okay, which is totally unconstitutional. It's totally illegal because, for one thing, to pay a tax is illegal anyway. Okay, that's nothing more but extortion, and it's usury. And in their own laws, they tell you that they're not supposed to force that or impose that harsh tax upon people. Now, if you have a business or so of some sort, then they tax that, but they're not supposed to tax your income, or not your income, but your labor wages. Labor wages and income are two different things. Okay, but this is really predicated towards the poor, okay, the lower class, because if you notice for what this whole pandemic thing did, it did away with the middle class. So now you have rich and poor. So they're coming for small time business owners, people that work mom and pop shops, people that's trying to make an honest living, and they're coming after you and me. Okay, the people basically we call soft targets, because they know that the people, through some type of extent, it's not going to revolt against this. But what they're not banking on is people not revolting, but just seeing the sloppy traits from this video and the tactics. These people gonna get steamrolled, man. Okay, and they're gonna have to bring in a more stronger opposing force to get these American devils to comply, because the American people, these Edomites, these Babylonians, they're already fed up with the bullshit Biden has done. Okay, and all you simple ass jakes out there that thought that this guy, creepy Jim Crow Joe, was for your side. He basically just armed the IRS task force to basically rape, rob you, and shake you down. All because they need more federal fund. They need more money to fight this war. That's all it's about. And that's the reason why they're pushing for gun control, because they know that these weak ass individuals that call themselves IRS agents, they're going to be coming to your door trying to shake you down for money. And they already told them, like, look, man, the people don't respect us. They don't respect you. They already on edge. Shoot on sight. So they have to train these people up. And this is the reason why they're trying to strip the citizens down to their weapons. They want their weapons because they don't want them to revolt. Okay, like when they trying to take your weapons, obviously they have a bigger agenda at hand. And it's not gonna fly with a lot of these red devils, especially these red state devils. Esau ain't going for this shit, man. But it's gonna hit you Negroes the hardest, because a lot of you don't pay taxes. Okay, a lot of you are behind on taxes. A lot of you are scheming, scamming, and a lot of you just don't know what the hell is up. So they're coming after just regular people, man. They're not going to fuck with the rich people. They're not going to even deal with the rich, because the rich ain't got nothing to do with this. Okay? So, hey, this man is coming down with great wrath. And like I said, this is getting ready to be 70 AD all over again, man. And the target is you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans predominantly. All right? So it says fiscus judacius. It says Latin for Jewish tax. Was a tax imposed on the Jews in the Roman Empire. We're in the Roman Empire again. Okay, which led up to the taxing, which led the Sakari sect to rebel against this, because, hey, they were carnal. Okay, they didn't follow what Yahushua say, render unto Caesar what Caesar's. Okay, and they fought a long war until the last Sakari member was pretty much disbanded or put to death, which the Sakari was landed by a guy named, I think his name was Eleazar ben Israel or something like that. But I know his name was Alazar. Makes sense though, right? What are the fucking chances that you got this guy, Alazay, the head of the Sakari in this day and age, which shows you everything is spiritual and everything is reincarnated. This may totally be this guy, okay? Because they in the same mindset. Their carnal was all hell. They walk around with weapons, which is modern day daggers. And then the guy said it on his own podcast. He said, man, when I read about the Sakari, he said, man, we them niggas. You know what I'm saying? He straight up said it. Okay, which is going to lead into a bloodbath eventually, because once this happened, this shit can spark off a civil war. But this is what they're gunning for, because Esau, he has a little time left. Okay, Revelation, the 12th chapter, behold, the devil come down to you having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. They got to move quick, because going into the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab said it. You will own nothing and be happy about it. So they're really getting ready to crack down on this new world order, and they're getting ready to put shit into play. So these are exciting times we living in, brothers, man. We are clearly at the time of the end, where Yahushua said that he was going to make his return. So for men like us, we just got to hold on and remain faithful. Okay. So it says, after the destruction of the Jerusalem and its temple in 70 AD. Okay. Going into the history of Titus, Vespasian, Domitian, Caesars. Okay. We call it the Masada period. Basically, when they besieged the cities, and they entrenched them in or encamped them in, and they didn't allow any type of food or product to come into the city. So therefore, the women, the men, the children, they all starved to death. And then you had infighting, okay, because the Sakari, they were setting up garrisons around the city to starve out those they didn't want to help, or they didn't want to team up with them to fight the Romans. So a lot of those guys that Sakari was recruiting, often they turned on them. Okay, because he was even speculated that Judas Iscariot may have been a sect of the Sakari as well. Okay, but that's history for another time. Okay, that just requires more research, but it was hinted at. Okay, we're not saying that is or it isn't, but it was hinted at. But it says here, the tax measure improved Rome's finances and also worked as a deterrent against proselytizing. Okay, proselytizing. Those who paid the tax did not have to sacrifice to Roman gods. Okay, so this was a mandate for us. Okay, because like I said, they had us in captivity. We was basically a tributary unto them, which is an unrighteous decree, and we're tributaries unto them today. This is the reason why you pay an income tax on your paycheck. You're paying a Medicare, you're paying a carbon tax, you're paying that tax, this tax, that tax, to the point that these people will literally be knocking on your door because you got an audit for $200, man. Okay, so this shit is getting ready to turn up, man, one way or another. But let's look this up. Proselytizing means, it says, proselytism is a policy of attempt to convert people's religious or political beliefs. It says it has been a form of involuntary forced conversion through bribery, coercion, or violence, or blackmail, basically blackmail, or violence, such as proselytism is illegal in some countries. It is considered to be an opposite of conscious and involuntary form of conversion, such as those taught in evangelism or shahada. Okay, so Esau Edom, he's forcing, or he's gonna force you people to bow down to his system. Okay, which is the MARK. The C-hip. Okay, going here to Domitian, it says, who ruled between 81 and 96 AD, which proves that he was the particular Caesar or emperor that was in power during the time that John the Revelator was banished to the island of Patmos. And this is when he got those revelations. And this is why we say that Domitian was the one that was pretty much predominant at that time. All right. It says expanded the fishes Judacious to include not only born Jews and converts to Judaism, okay, which there was no such thing as Judaism then. It's bullshit. See, they throw a lot of bones in there to kind of offset you, to make it seem like the Jewish people was those people in the land today and they converted over, because you had Edomites that was fighting on the side of Jake's too, man, during the time of the Roman Jewish wars. You had Edomites that was fighting right along with Jake, man. Okay, right on the side of Jake during the time of the Sakari Wars and Jake revolting and all these men rising up against the Roman Empire. Okay, and they couldn't take them down because it wasn't the time for them to go down. It was the time for them to rule. Like now, you're going to have a group of misfits that's going to get carnal, okay? And the Most High is going to cause the Edomites, which is the modern day Romans, to pretty much disband you again. Okay, because it's going to be a civil war in this country. And just like then, you're going to have Edomites and Jake fighting on the same side against this government, man. Because most of these Jakes, they don't know what the hell is going on. All right, but Esau Edom, he knows, he's paying attention to this shit. You think these these Kansas devils, these Missouri devils, these Texas devils, you think they're gonna allow these people to come in and do some work with them? Hell no, man, they're not going. They want all the smoke, man. And you Jakes, man, a couple of million you gonna have to get blown away for you to wake up to understand that your ass is under attack. All right. It says here, but also those who concealed the fact that they were Jews or observed Jewish customs. It says Suetonius relates that when he was young, an old man of 90 was examined to see whether he was circumcised. Shows that during this period, the tax was levied even on those above the age of 62. It says Louis Feldman argued that the increased harshness was caused by the success of the Jewish and possibly the Christian, which Christians and Israelites are synonymous, because the real Christians are the Israelites, or the real Israelites are the Christians, should I say. It wasn't no religion. Okay, it's called proselytism. Okay, it says Domitian applied the tax even to those who merely lived like Jews, because even of the Herodian dynasty, you had so-called converts, which you can't really convert over to our faith, but you had men that was of other nations trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Same thing with those Samaritans, man. Okay, so hey, they were like, you living like these people, then hey, we gonna put you under their fucking we're gonna put you under the yoke too. You know. it says here, besides other taxes that on Jews, a tax of 2 dramas a head imposed by Vespasian, which is actually according to Josephus, it says was levied with the utmost rigor, and those who were persecuted, who without publicly acknowledging that faith yet lived as Jews. They need to say Israelites, or they say Jews because Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, okay, is the house of Judah, you know, but they throw you off with that. But it says who concealed, who's as well as those who concealed their origins did not pay the tribute levied upon their people. These may have been Christians, which were Israelites, whom the Romans commonly assumed were Jews. Why did they assume were Jews? Because the Christians and the Judah or the Israelites were the same people. They're just another word they put on us, man. Okay, those that follow Yahweh Shai. It says, I recall being present in my youth when the person of man 90 years old was examined for the procurator in a very crowded court to see whether he was circumcised. So this is a common practice, man. Okay, like I was reading something else too, the imposition. Yep, going here, it says the tax was initially imposed by Roman Emperor Vespasian as one of the measures against the Jews as a result of the first Roman-Jewish war, or Jewish revolt of the 66 to 73. That's why we say 66 AD. It says the tax was imposed on all Israelites throughout the empire, not just on those who took part in the revolt against Rome, which was the Sicarii. It says the tax was imposed after the destruction of the Second Temple in AD 70 or 70 AD in place of the levy or the tithe payable to the Jews, because I believe you had to pay, what was his name? Onias, if I'm not mistaken, you had to pay a percentage. It was called a temple tax. I believe a temple tax today will be equivalent to like $12, okay? It was like a certain amount of shekels of silver, but it will be equivalent to like $12 or something to modern day time due to inflation. But it says payable by the Jews towards the upkeep of the temple. The amount levy was 2 denarii, equivalent to 1/2 of a shekel that observant Jews had previously paid for the upkeep of the temple of Jerusalem, which would be equivalent to $12 today if you do the conversion. It says the tax was to go instead to the temple of the Capitol Jupiter, the major center of ancient Roman religion. Okay, it says the fictious Judaeus, I can't pronounce that, Judaeus, was a humiliation for the Israelites, okay? Because this is humiliating. Taxes is one of the most degrading things that can oppressive, because when you get your paycheck, you already knew they taking taxes. Now, let's say if you made $30 an hour, you're literally grossing probably 2 bands a week. But when they chop that down to half, you may barely take home $1,000, man. That's fucking ludicrous, man. Okay. It says in Rome, a special procurator known as the procurator in Capitularia and Idunarum was responsible for the collection of the tax. Only those who have abandoned Judaism was exempt from paying it, meaning you had to denounce your faith, man. Okay. And that's pretty much on that, man. I was reading something about the Sicarii too, but let me see if I can find it again. But anyway, that's just a little history on that. Okay, like here it goes into the Sicarii, but they played a big part in revolting against the Roman Empire because of said taxes. So basically, long story short, we're showing you that there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, the same thing that happened then is going to happen now in a roundabout way, but yet it's going to be even deadlier, because this time, you know, it's going to be a whole revolt. Okay, this is going to lead to civil war in this society, man, or some type of civil war, because like I said, people are on edge, man. Okay, so this is Isaiah 10 again in the New Living Translation. It says, what sorrow waits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. Okay, you gearing up men to go door to door to basically rob people for your sick war games, man, to fund your fucking war. Okay, and this is the reason why, like I said earlier, they're impeding on people's rights and trying to take their weapons, because they don't want any type of backlash from this. But like we said, this is going to start pretty much a civil war if this goes down like that. It says they deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people, because taxes is nothing more but keeping the poor poor and the rich rich. Okay, like how the rich stay empowered. Basically, they borrow debt from the poor, and they have the poor to pay the debt back to the rich. So therefore the rich stay rich because they're not necessarily using their own money to stay in power. Okay, it says here they prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. But what would you do when I punish you and when I send a disaster upon you from a distant land? Okay, so the Most High, man, he's all, man, look, this is getting ready to get real deadly. Okay, so brothers out there, man, we got to stay spiritual, you know, because we all gonna go through this, man. Okay, whether they fully go through this or not, there's still gonna be a form of adversity on the Israelites, because remember, 70 AD all over again. Okay, so this is the book of Revelation 12:12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down to you having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. Okay, so that's why shit is moving quick. Like allegedly December 13th, they're signing, I believe it's like some CBDC or some type of form of digital assets that they can pretty much converge over. So, cash may be out of here by December. We just have to wait and see. We don't know officially, but we just have to wait and see. But regardless of that, they're moving quick, man. And they're declaring war on our people. They've declared war on their own citizens, but mainly this is an attack towards you Negro, Latino, and Native American, man. Okay, that's why it says having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time, man. Okay, so, these Edomites, man, they ready. But you Jakes, you gonna get carnal, okay? Because this is the book of Acts 5, and I'm gonna start at verses 36. It says, before the days rose up through this, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all as many obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. Because you got to understand, going into the history of the Jewish-Roman wars, okay? Going into the history of the Sakari, the different zealot groups that banded together to try to stop this thing, okay? And they were carnal as hell, okay? They were mainly attacking Romans, but they were attacking Israelites as well, that then converge over to their cause. That's why you notice Sakari, they always going to these niggas in the hood, man, okay? Because they're trying to get them followings up like it came out. Them guys don't even vet nobody. You know, as long as you say shalom and grow a beard and wear some t-shirt fringes and you can hoist a Glock, you in a Sakari, you a ranking member, man. You'll be a fucking camp leader and don't know a scripture, you know? And it says, and as this man, after this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, okay, what we were just reading, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many that obeyed him, was dispersed. Okay, so that shows you right there that, we had to wait on Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, the Lord said, wait upon me until I rise up to the prey. Okay, so that's why we're banking on spiritual power. Because without spiritual power, there's no way in hell to defeat these people, man. Okay, going door to door, putting people on the ground, harassing people, all because of fucking illegal tax form. Okay, taxes is illegal any goddamn way. But like the Lord said, render unto Caesar what Caesar's, man. His face is on the money, give it to him. You know, we're not going to get carnal if that comes knocking at our door. We just going to follow the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's even if brothers have to go through such strenuous shit. Okay, because mainly this is really for you wicked doers. Okay, for you evil doers of our people. You're going to get caught up in the harsher atrocities of what the hell is happening. All right, but for the men of the Lord, we're going to be tried. But overall, through our temptation, like the scriptures say, there will be a way to escape. Okay, in Lord's will, we found worthy to avoid these things, man. Because, honestly speaking, they come knocking at my door. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to get pissed off and they're going to have to put 60 in my chest. Or the Lord going to give me spiritual power, or I might not have to deal with it at all. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping for not to deal with it, you know, but it is what it is. Okay, but just to throw that out there, we're not to get carnal. Okay, you are to follow the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because remember, this is not for our judgment, man. Okay, this is for the wicked of our people and these wicked ass heathens, man. You see? So this is the book of 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. And this is my last precept. The point is being made. 2nd Esdras 16, and I'm going to start at verses... Let's start at verses 70. It says here, matter of fact, let's start at 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they should take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And, you know, I say that MOTB, because a lot of you jakes are going to be taken off, carted to these concentration camps, and you're going to have a choice. You gonna take the MOTB or we gonna cut your head off? And what you gonna choose? Like, you gonna choose death or you gonna choose life? Okay, which choosing life is pretty much selling out to the system. Choosing death is to choose life in Yahweh Shai. Okay, and it says, and they that consented to them should be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. So if you consent to them, you still gonna get got, because Esau doesn't honor his word, and the Most High has a certain dreadful spirit on his devil to kill our people. And it says here, for that should be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Okay, because hey, they're gonna go door to door, whether it's these people or the UN. Okay, but regardless, they're gonna have a military force, or they're gonna have some type of attack or insurrection that's gonna be upon the people. Not only our people, their people as well. But a lot of you Israelites are gonna be straight up mauled down. Okay, you're gonna be straight up cut down like grass in that day. Millions of you. Okay, this ain't gonna be no small level attack. When they come down, they're coming down door to door. I've seen it in visions, man. Them going door to door, blowing Jake away. I've seen it, in my mind, in dreams. Okay? And it says here, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they should be tried as gold in the fire. So, hey, brothers, we got our faith to be tested, but we will endure, Lord, what we have found worthy. So I'm going to end it there, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash. With that, shalom. Lord's will, you were edified into the next lesson. Shalom and a Bible ball.
Welcome to Jesse Waters Primetime. I'm Will Kane. Well, yesterday was the day that Joe Biden sold out American taxpayers and weaponized the IRS against his own people. But he'll tell you that today it's the best thing ever done for America.
And I'm about to sign the Inflation Reduction Act into law, one of the most significant laws in our history. Let me say from the start, with this law, the American people won and the special interests lost.
Now, while he sits there, smug, clapping, Chuck Schumer and Jim Clyburn by his side, telling you this is the biggest win in history, the only one's going to suffer from his so-called Inflation Reduction Act is you. On top of not actually reducing inflation, Biden is now, of course, as you know, adding 87,000 new IRS agents to the federal government, effectively doubling the IRS. They're adding $80 billion to the IRS budget over the next 10 years. And get this, 57% of that is going to enforcement. Now, the White House and Democrats tell you the plan is to make sure that big corporations and the 1% pay their fair share of taxes. But like everything else in Biden's new bill, it doesn't actually do what it says it will do. In reality, you're going to be audited and robbed blind. According to the House GOP analysis, Americans that make $75,000 or less are going to be subjected to nearly 711,000 additional IRS audits, thanks to Joe's big plan. Now, look, that makes up 60% of additional audits expected from the legislation. Now, those that make over $500,000, they're only going to get 95,000 more audits. The IRS is coming for you, and Biden's ready to make sure of it. Don't believe me? Look at this video of the IRS teaching students at Dixie State University what it's like to be an agent.
Under this scenario, these students find the owner of a landscaping company has several vehicles that may have been purchased from monies not reported through his business. After an undercover interview using a wireless mic, the special IRS agents find that Dodger, who is selling his business, has 2 sets of books.
An undercover agent for the landscaping company. They're coming for the little guy. They're coming for you. Hey, all over big cities, businesses, big and small, are being smashed and grabbed and taken advantage of by armed robbers. And clearly the IRS is looking at all these videos and thinking, hey, let's get in on the action. But the difference is these 87,000 IRS agents aren't going to have to smash and grab their way into your business to steal, although they will most likely be armed. The IRS has a stockpile of almost 5,000 guns and millions of rounds of ammunition. And by the way, a recent IRS job posting wrote that applicants have to be, quote, willing to use deadly force. Now, why would the IRS need to use deadly force? But they don't have to do that. They can just send you a paper in the mail forcing you to pay up. Now, a lot of small businesses run mostly on cash. Delis, laundromats, barbershops, all of them are now staring down the barrel of an audit gun. Think about this. Why is Joe Biden hiring 87,000 new IRS agents? Well, it could be that in part, he's helping out the IRS and then by extension helping out the Democratic Party. The union that represents the Treasury Department employees, the National Treasury Employees Union, through its PAC, gives nearly 100% of its donations to Democrats. Well, you can see what's going on here. Double the size of the IRS, double the size of the union, double the size of the contribution to Democrats. A little bit of I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And look, the IRS union, they love the Inflation Reduction Act. Why wouldn't they? Double the size. But why, again, is Joe Biden hiring all of these agents? What are they there to do? Well, they're there to get to work. And we've seen time and again how Washington operates and how it gets to work. It protects the wealthy, the powerful, without thinking about you. The ultra-rich and powerful don't play by the same set of rules as you and me. They have inside access to the system and protection from the left. And they always use it to their benefit. People like Nancy Pelosi and Polly P. and Hunter Biden flaunt their corruption in our faces without fear of any real consequences because they know that the rules do not apply. The Pelosis can make perfectly timed stock trades. No one will bat an eye. Hunter can make millions and millions from clearly corrupt businessmen in foreign countries. He can use his dad's connections to get rich. He can give 10% to the big guy. He can be reckless. He can lose laptops. He can smoke crack. He can sleep with hookers. But do you really think Hunter is worried? Definitely not. He may be getting investigated by the federal government, but he's not worried. He knows the IRS and the federal government isn't coming for him. He's sleeping like a baby in his free $20 million South Carolina mansion. But now if you own a pizza shop or a bodega, you might not be able to fall asleep so easily because something a lot scarier than the boogeyman is coming for you. The ultra-rich, not concerned. Not concerned in the slightest. Case in point, billionaire Bill Gates. He, by the way, Bill Gates, is the Inflation Reduction Act's big money champion. Listen to this. It turns out Gates met with Senator Joe Manchin multiple times in person and on the phone when Joe was ready to pump the brakes on what they now call the climate change legislation. It's magic how it changed from the Inflation Reduction Act to a climate change bill overnight. Now, Gates was privately lobbying Manchin to get this passed and agreed to all of it in the name, of course, a mini Green New Deal. Manchin didn't want to hurt jobs in his state, West Virginia, so Bill Gates came in, turned on the charm, and promised him the world, all these new green energy jobs when Biden collapses the coal industry. And Gates got Manchin on board. The Inflation Reduction Act is just a name, but in reality, that's not what it's meant to do. The whole act is a ploy, like a snake oil salesman that came into town and sold you the magic elixir. It's a way to push forward climate change fantasies. All for Mother Earth. Right, Nancy?
How can they vote against the planet? Mother Earth. Mother Earth gets angry from time to time, and this legislation will help us address all of that.
Lay the Inflation Reduction Act on the altar of Mother Earth, or the planet will get angry, says Nancy Pelosi. Now, Mother Earth will be happy because sacrifices have been made. You, on the other hand, not so much. This bill isn't designed to help you. No, no, no. It's not actually going to reduce inflation. Democrats will even tell you that themselves.
I want to take a moment to say a few words about the so-called Inflation Reduction Act that we are debating this evening. And I say so-called, by the way, because according to the CBO and other economic organizations who have studied this bill, it will in fact have a minimal impact on inflation.
I thought bait and switch was against the law. It's all about climate change. And how are they going to pay to make all these green dreams come true? Well, they're hiring tax warriors, 87,000 of them, to go after you and take your money. But the IRS isn't coming for people like Joe Manchin and Bill Gates. Even if they did, Gates and Manchin can definitely afford it. Manchin's worth millions. He drives around in a Maserati. he can afford to get audited. Gates has so much money, he really, honestly, he stopped being a real person.
This company, Nature's Find, is using fungi, and then they turn them into sausage and yogurt. Pretty amazing.
When you say fungi, do you mean like a mushroom or a microbe?
It's a microbe. This is the yogurt.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
Yum. He can afford a team of high